Yo 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 yo.
Charlamagne the God.
Peace to the planet. It's Tuesday.
Yes, it's Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
And we got a special guest host.
And you better keep that same energy all morning.
What same energy?
That same flirting energy you be doing with me.
What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Play dumb now. Play clueless now, King.
You just want to make me jealous.
Him?
You.
My wife, Gia Casey, is here. Drop a bomb.
Thank you. I'm sensing an agenda. Hello, beautiful people.
That's right. And today, our book is released. The paperback to our book is being released today.
Yes, okay. Real life, real love.
That's right. So you can pick it up at Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, or wherever you purchase your books at. Some of the spots are in actually the airport too. So a couple of spots in the airport as well. So
it's a national bestseller.
That's right. So if you're out and about, definitely go pick up the book. How you feeling getting up this early?
I wasn't happy about how early I had to get up to get ready, if I'm being honest.
It's normal though, right? Because the kids got to get up for school, right?
No, I slept for 1 hour last night between getting the kids wrangled and getting ready to come here.
Okay.
Yeah, I slept for 1 hour. So if my eyes are a little red, that's the reason.
Just smoke some slurred and
smoke some weed and
balance it out.
To put me in an even worse situation. Good advice. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Now today, of course, we got front page news. We got to talk about Don Lemon. He was fired.
Tucker Carlson, he was fired too.
But Rick Ross did offer Don Lemon a job, and we'll talk about that in the rumors. And also, we have a special guest joining us, Marianne Williamson.
Marianne Williamson is running for president. She has a lot to say because the Democrats won't even do, the DNC won't even do a primary for Democrats.
Right.
So she's upset about that.
And this is the third time.
She should be.
That's the third time she's running, right?
Probably. I remember two. I only remember two. But she might have ran it another time. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I just remember 2020.
All right. So we'll get into all that. Of course, next we got front page news. Teslin Figaro will be joining us. She'll be breaking down everything that we're discussing. So don't move. It's the Breakfast Club on BET. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host, Gia, here today. Morning, babe.
How you doing?
Good. And now let's get into some front page news. Hey, Teslin Figaro.
Good morning, Breakfast Club family.
The Hood Whisperer, Teslin Figaro, is here. Give us some of that cable news tea, Taz. Spill that cable news tea.
Wait. Before we do, let me do some quick sports.
That tea is hot, ain't it?
Yes, it's hot. The Lakers beat the Grizzlies 117-111, and the Heat beat the Bucks 119-114. They came back. They were down like over 20, and Jimmy Butler had 56.
And LeBron James is the oldest player ever in NBA history to have 20 points and over 20 rebounds. Dylan Brooks called that man old.
And he busted his ass.
And ain't showed up since.
Bust his
The Lakers
ass.
up 3-1.
That's right.
Since that young man called that OGO.
And we got to congratulate Ime Udoka. Did I say that right?
No, I don't know. No, don't ask me.
Well, of course, he was
right.
released from the Boston Celtics. He got a new job. He's going to be the head coach of the Houston Rockets. So, congratulations to Ime Udoka. Did I say that right? Ime Udoka. I was close. Now, let's jump right into it, Tess.
Yes, honey. So I need y'all to get y'all fans out, honey, because this is cable news tea. So I'm going to do...
Wait, hold on. I don't feel much hospitality in the room.
You ain't got a fan?
Where is my honorary fan?
Well, you can get Flame Moreau. Flame is naked on that fan.
You already a queen.
Yeah.
We need this to give off queen energy.
Yeah, we turn to the queens.
Okay.
Yes, honey. We got to do the C and E with the T with this, honey. I don't get a chance to do T, so let me get into it, honey. So... Yesterday, there was a cable news shakeup that shocked America. Tucker Carlson, who hosts the most popular show on cable news, drawing 3 million viewers per night, was fired from Fox News, allegedly with no notice. And Don Lemon was fired from CNN, allegedly with no notice after working at CNN for 17 years. Now, sources say that Tucker was allegedly fired for making disparaging remarks about women. His pending lawsuit with his former producer, January 6 conspiracies, honey, and text messages revealed during the Dominion settlement against Fox News. Now, Don Lemon says that he wasn't given any notice and that he found out through his agent, but CNN said, honey, that was fake news and it was inaccurate, and that they did offer him a chance to meet with management, but he decided to get on Twitter and make a statement. Now, in Don's case, sources say that it's been a long record, honey, of diva-like behavior, such as refusing to attend pre-production rehearsals for CNN this morning because he was upset that he was not the center of the show. They said that he did not want to share equal hosting duties with Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Collins. And sources also say, honey, that he became upset when he was informed that he was not going to be able to drink alcohol on the set of CNN's New Year's Eve telecast.
That would be a deal breaker for me, too.
Yeah, would it?
That'd be a deal breaker, honey. I need to hear the fans popping. Where's the fans popping?
I'm right here. I'm just waving. I'm just waiting. It's tea hot. I gotta stay cool.
Okay.
I'll just be hot over here.
Okay. And then, of course, honey, you know, he made recent comments about Nikki Haley, saying that she was not in her prime, honey. Basically, he called her old. And then shortly after that, he made statements. Variety came out with an article saying about his history of his misogyny, honey. So now the internet, you know, they are making up reasons back and forth, honey. You know, of course, the internet know everything. And so they said that the internet, honey, said that the reason why he was fired was also because of his on-air exchange with Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Take a listen.
The part that I find insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate
I'm not saying you
without me regarding you as a black man,
but
me regarding you as a fellow citizen. That's what I think we should see.
Whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
whatever ethnicity
about what it's like to be black.
Whatever ethnicity I am, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this debate.
On the content of the ideas.
If you're going to do it, you should do it in an honest way and in a fair way. And what you're doing is not an honest and fair way. Okay? We appreciate you coming on.
With due respect, Don, I look forward to continuing that conversation.
We'll
Thank
continue
you.
the conversation.
Thank you
so much.
Tez, I'm glad you gave all that information, because if people think that is the reason Don Lemon got fired, then they haven't been paying attention. Like, Don Lemon got fired because of that Variety article that came out. And the headline said they was exposing his alleged misogyny at CNN. And it talks about malicious texts he sent women and mocking female co-workers and diva-like behavior. Which, people say he disrespected Nancy Grace on the air, and Soledad O'Brien during meetings, and Soledad actually spoke in the article, right? And they said he yelled at his co-host Caitlin Collins, and the comments about Nikki Haley, like Tez said. So, and that article spoke to 12 former colleagues who didn't paint the best picture of the brother. So if you're saying Don got fired for that clip, you haven't been paying attention.
Wow. All right.
Well, honey, we don't see.
Oh, go ahead, Ted.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and Fox lost $787 million in a lawsuit.
Yep. A lot of more people could be gone.
Exactly, and took a huge hit to their credibility. You know some heads going to roll when you lose that kind of money.
Yeah, but isn't that one of their biggest shows, though?
Or like Ted said, though, Tucker Carlson is being sued by a former producer for sexism and harassment. So that's going to cost them more money. So a big fish got to go in a situation
they're
like
looking for different ways to trim the fat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just for clarity, not only is it their biggest show, DJ Envy, it's the biggest show on cable news, period. So he gets 3 million viewers. So that just goes to show you that nobody is safe, honey. I was going to do a story. Remember when I did the story on quiet quitting? There's actually another story called Quiet Firing. And this is an example of how you can think all is well and come to work the next day and not have a job.
That's right.
So,
but if your company loses $787 million, you should know that heads are going to roll.
Somebody's going.
And in that time slot, they can put damn near anybody in that time slot and they're going to perform well. Because before Tucker Carlson, it was Bill O'Reilly.
Right?
Yeah,
it was O'Reilly. Yeah. But Tucker Carlson, though, he was against Trump. You know, the text messages that they revealed during that lawsuit, he actually was saying he couldn't stand Trump. Well, and then he still went on air. And of course went along with the conspiracy. But he went against him. So that's why.
And that's why I say they took a huge hit to their credibility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I said that. Yep.
All right. Well, that is front page news, and we're going to talk to you some more in a couple of minutes, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. 800. I need a tweezer, man. I got a splinter with that damn fan, man.
Your wife right there. Don't even look at me. Don't look at me for none of that this morning,
he can
King.
look at you for the tweezer.
Nah, don't
you
even.
You might have one in your back pocket.
I
wouldn't be surprised.
You don't tweeze your eyebrows?
I wouldn't be surprised.
You do
natural.
Those are not natural.
That's what you're talking about.
Those are not natural.
Lift your hat up a little bit. I don't believe
These
you.
are natural.
You never tweezed your eyebrows before?
No.
Yes, you did. There's a picture with your eyebrows done.
No. I got them arched. I ain't get them tweezed. That was an arch.
Excuse me, just in case you don't know, there's a difference between waxing, threading, and tweezing.
Thank you.
Which one is your hair removal of choice? choice.
That was just it was just a razor. That was back in the day.
She
The
did a
cream with the
razor.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
Get it off your chest. Gia is our co-host. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Ray.
Yo, Charlamagne, Envy, what up? Are we live?
This is your time to get it off your chest.
I got an indoor pool, an outdoor pool.
We want to hear from you on The Breakfast Club.
We can get on the phone right now. He'll tell you what it is.
We live? Hello, who's this?
What's up, Envy?
What's up, Trav?
Charlamagne.
What up, sis? How are you?
I'm doing good. What's up, Gia?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you, boo?
Amazing.
Trav, do you sense Envy ain't keeping that same energy this morning?
Oh, boy. It's only been...
Nothing happened yet. You just don't want him
I'm
to keep
so
the same
glad that
energy.
you're there, Gia. Because I'm tired of your man flirting with my sis.
I'm a little tired of it, too.
I used to think it was Charlamagne starting with Envy, but then I realized Envy be baiting him.
I'm trying to tell
I
you.
do not be baiting that man, Trav.
You be baiting him, Envy.
I think he
It
likes
don't
the
always be
attention.
hard.
But what do you want, Trav?
I'm calling to talk about that when I've been supporting my sis this weekend. I took a little flight to Atlanta to make sure I was at the first Black Effect podcast.
Hey.
And Star,
Yes,
I think
sir.
I told you a million times when I saw you that it was amazing. It was packed, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yes, sir. Thank
That's
you,
what
brother.
it is, Trav. Trav, where'd you stay in Atlanta?
Everywhere.
I stayed at the Embassy Suites. I made sure I got that free breakfast and that free happy hour.
When I saw Trav, I was happy. I was like, oh, Trav came all the way from Philly to support. But then I'm like, wait a minute, this is Atlanta. This is a playground for Trav.
That's right. Trav had a good time.
Stop it. You know, it's so crazy. I didn't even really. I saw my friends last night after the first night. But the main reason I did go out there was really to support you, Shar. And I do want to say I'm so glad that you always allow me to be in your space. I know how you are about your space. And you don't be acting weird. You always like and welcome me. And I appreciate you.
All love, my brother.
All right, Trav, did you get some while you was in Atlanta?
Say it again?
Did you get some while you was in Atlanta?
Actually, I didn't.
Oh, sorry, Trav.
You sound disappointed. Bye.
Hello, who's this?
Hi, this is Shayna calling from Irvington.
Hey, Shayna, get it off your chest, mama.
I just want to say I love Dia, and
Aw.
I'm so happy you have Dia on the show. Dia, when I saw the post last night, I commented, I was like, yes, this is what we've been waiting for.
Oh, is that right? Thank you.
Yes, but, I also want to say, wow, what a blessing. I'm going to make this quick. You guys have brought me through so much stuff, through a lot of things. And I'm very thankful to be on the show right now. I've been trying to call for years. When I was in college, I always listened to you guys. You guys really helped me get through a lot. So, Charlamagne, I love you.
I love you
I love
more.
you, Dia. I'm really happy you're on the program.
Thank you, Shayna. You have a good morning, all right?
No problem. You guys have a good one.
You too, hon.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Anything.
We got your lunch today.
Really help.
What's
Nah,
your
we
cash
got
app,
you.
brother?
But
What
I'm going
is
to tell
it?
you something. When we need some electrician work done, you better drive up from
Come on.
You better
Hey,
drive.
man, you know what? You give me a call, I'm there, Charlamagne.
Now, what's your cash app, though? Give it to us. Come on, before your phone disconnect.
It's Cash App is ARAMOS
ARANOS.
92611.
Ramos, R-A-M-O-S, you said?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. A Ramos, my first name and my last initial. And then my daughter's birthday.
ARANOS. What?
What's the numbers?
ARAMOS 926.
Antonio Ramos.
Yep, that's me.
All right, check right now. See if you got it.
Okay.
I hope I ain't sent it to the wrong person either.
Did you get
It
it?
said it's sent. Mine sent.
Okay.
You got it?
Yep, I felt it pop up.
You got both of them?
You got both of them?
Let me see. Yep, I got both of them.
All right,
All
brother.
right.
Man, I appreciate both of y'all. Hey, listen, real quick, can I shout out my girl's business?
Go ahead, man.
It's Perfectly Perfect. It's off of Denby and Jefferson, and it's in the Newport News area. And you can find it on Google
What kind of business is
or
it?
on Facebook. It's a dog grooming business,
Okay.
A dog grooming.
and she's trying to expand it into dog like daycare
and training and things like that.
Say the name one more time.
Perfectly perfect.
Okay.
All right, brother. Have a good one,
put
man.
this man on hold and get his information. I'm serious. We need some electrician work done somewhere.
Shut up, man.
All right, you shut up.
Enjoy lunch, man.
All right, you sit right there.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host Gia here.
Hello.
And let's get to the rumors. Let's talk Rick Ross.
Rumor has it. Rumor has it.
Call out a name, or you gossiping, or you chatty patty.
I'm gossiping.
This is the Rumor Report.
I mean, I guess we on The Breakfast Club. This is where the tea spills, right?
Yes, on The Breakfast Club.
Now, we reported in front page news that Don Lemon has been let go from CNN, but Rick Ross offered him a job.
It's the biggest boss in the game, Ricky Rose, just found out Don Lemon was terminated from CNN. Damn, Don. But guess what? The brothers got your back. We hiring in that Wingstop. For some reason, I believe you know what you're doing with them lemon pepper wing, man. Just send over your resume. Well, it was 17 years. But I'm going to make sure I get you in front of the right grill, brother. Stay solid, brother.
I wonder why Ross gave Don Lemon a shot. I really feel like he meant that for Tucker Carlson. But the stories just both came in around the same time, so he said Don Lemon. Why Don Lemon?
Well, I don't think Tucker Carlson would be a good wing maker. I don't think
Don Lemon pepper. Oh, okay, dropping the clues bombs for
Okay,
Rose.
Ross.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, Lee Daniels has some advice for Don Lemon as well.
Tucker Carlson out. I don't know how I feel about that. How you feel? Man, we know how I feel about that. Bye, mother. And then Don Lemon out, which is just like gut-wrenching. Right, Jeremy?
Gut-wrenching.
I mean, okay, but here's the thing. I got this idea, and I came in here. I want y'all boys to think about this. Don Lemon, Tucker Carlson, if I were a smart executive, I'd put them both on the same TV show. How bananas would the ratings be? And I think it could possibly unite the country, too.
I love Lee, but that whole rant made zero sense. Like, you start off, going at Tucker, right? Saying bye, mother effer, bye, only to come back around and say if I was a smart executive, I would give him a job.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Doesn't sound right.
And also, that's the problem with cable news, right? Like, everything is about entertainment purposes. Nothing is about actual news. Like, Lee wants Tucker and Don to do a show together because it'll be messy and have conflict. Yeah, that might bring ratings, but how does that help the people that are seeking, news, proper news coverage every day?
It definitely doesn't.
Come on, man. Stop.
Now, lastly, we got to talk about rapper designer. Now, Gia is here. Of course, my wife. We have a book out, Real Life, Real Love. The paperback is out today, so you can go pick it up, drop a bomb for that.
Hey.
Now, you want to do the story?
Yeah, I'll do the story.
Now, we reported this yesterday with Designer. Of course, he was arrested. They said that he exposed himself on a flight, but now there's more details. So, what did they say, babe?
Rapper Designer has been charged with indecent exposure after revealing himself to multiple people and masturbating on a plane, prosecutors allege. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota charged him with the misdemeanor charge of indecent exposure on an aircraft. After a flight attendant saw him exposing himself, he quickly covered up only to be caught masturbating about 5 minutes later by members of the flight crew.
Now, have you ever been that horny that you had to...
No.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Them airplane drinks be strong, though, but no.
But why are you lying, though?
What? I ain't never had masturbated on a plane.
Do tell,
No, I was just asking, have you ever been horny on a plane?
I mean, I've been horny, but I ain't never stroked my monkey.
But have you ever asked anybody else to stroke the monkey?
Continue on.
All right. Even after he was told
we can stop. I like this rumor way better than the designer rumor, Gia.
Continue.
Where was y'all flying to? How long was the flight?
Continue.
It was Bahamas. Anyway, even after he was told he was going to be arrested, he was seen exposing himself for a third time, the Fed said. He was asked to move to the back of the plane. When he got up from his first class seat to move to the back, a jar of Vaseline dropped in the aisle. Drop a bomb.
Don't drop no bomb. That's so old. Who uses Vaseline?
Drop a jar of Vaseline.
I've tried Vaseline.
Really?
Yeah, I've tried it because everybody always talks about using Vaseline, but it don't work as good as a Vino.
Yeah, Vino is the best.
And gunky.
Yeah, I'm not with
and hard to manipulate, I think.
All right, keep going. There's more.
Two friends had to watch him the rest of the flight. He apologized to his security guard and claimed that he was bugging and messed up.
You think?
After news of the incident broke, the rapper posted a statement on his Instagram stories where he said he was ashamed and that he was seeking treatment. For the past few months, I've not been okay, and I've been struggling to come to terms with what is going on. While overseas for a concert I performed at, I had to be admitted into the hospital. I was not thinking clearly. They gave me meds, and I had to hop on a plane home. I'm ashamed of my actions that happened on the plane, and then when I landed back in the States, I plan on admitting myself into a facility to help me.
But there's more. Keep going.
Now it's being reported that he told FBI agents that he was not under the influence during the flight. He allegedly told them that he didn't get much in Japan and showed his magic stick to one of the flight attendants that he found attractive.
There's more.
He also said that he exposed himself because I didn't have anything in like a week, which the agent understood to mean sex. Now this is the best part. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
When asked why he exposed himself to the flight attendant, he said, I thought I was giving her encouragement to keep pushing. You know what I mean? To keep striving for it.
What? Striving for what? I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, he whipped out his meat and exposed himself to give her encouragement to keep pushing.
Well, I think,
obviously, he's having some problems.
I mean,
he needs some help.
Yes, everything he said about checking himself into a facility and getting some help, clearly.
Jesus Christ.
I want to hear more about this Bahamas trip.
Yo, shut up, man. That is your rumor report. Now, when we come back, we got front page news. Teslin Figaro will be joining us. So don't move. Gia Casey is our guest co-host today.
Hello.
And it's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Your mornings will never be the same.
Introducing The Game, a new single from The Lox, Rick Ross, and Fat Joe. This track is more than just a tribute for hoops culture. It's a lifestyle. Find out more at DraftKings.com/thegame. Available now on all major streaming platforms. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Now, let's get back into some front page news. Of course, we have Teslin Figaro here, but let me knock out the sports real fast. Now, the Lakers beat the Grizzlies last night, 117-111. LeBron had 20 points and I think 22 rebounds last night. Busted Brooks' ass.
And Brooks needs to be ashamed of himself. You can't call a man old, don't show up for the rest of the series, and don't want to talk to media. That's the problem with this generation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You're going to call that man out, but then don't back it up with nothing. It's just all words.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Heat beat the Bucks 119-114. I think the Heat were down like 20. They came back. Jimmy Butler had 56 points. And Ime Udoka, did I say that right?
I don't think you did, but it don't matter. We know who you're talking about.
Well, he left. Of course, he was released from the Boston Celtics. He just got hired as a Houston Rocket coach. And Jets, Jets. Well, it looks like Aaron Rodgers is officially going to be a Jet by the end of the day.
Are you allowed to do that as a Giants fan? Can you just shout out Jets? Like
I'm reporting the story. That's it.
I thought only fans do that, right?
That's facts.
Wow. That's kind of crazy, yo.
I did.
You supposed to just report that regular.
I'm a Giants.
And that, you supposed to that other team, that other football team in New York.
All right. That other football team in New York picked up Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to mean much, but congratulations to them. All right, now, Tez, what we starting today?
The shade is not going to mean much.
Do they need their fans for this?
Let's talk about Joe Biden.
Oh, I'm definitely not picking up my fan for this.
Nope. You're not picking up your fan?
No.
Well, since we've been on the air, President Joe Biden announced his 2024 re-election campaign, setting off a battle to convince the country that his age will not impede his ability to govern. That's great. Like, that's literally a part of his campaign messaging. Already the oldest president in American history at 80, he would be 86 by the end of his second term. President Joe Biden said, the question we are facing is whether in the years ahead we will have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not the time to be complacent. This is why I'm running for re-election. Now, currently, President Joe Biden has very low approval ratings, including 52% of Democrats that would prefer that he not run for re-election. They want him to have a seat. The lack of enthusiasm is especially high among young voters who were skeptical of Biden in 2020, but ultimately turned out in high numbers to help him beat Trump. Now, the DNC has decided they will not be hosting presidential debates for anyone that would like to run against him. And, of course, Democratic presidential candidate Marianne Williamson and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who also announced he will be challenging Joe Biden, called the process undemocratic.
That's not what democracy is about, right? Democracy is about letting people be challenged. How can the DNC just say we're not going to hold a primary?
Well, they're actually following the lead of the RNC. Republicans in 2020 also did the same thing. When folks decided to run against then President Trump, they did not feel those candidates were a serious threat to Trump, and they also, stopped the ability to debate.
Are we just going to ignore all the ghosts that he spoke to and all the people that he shook hands that there was nobody there and all the people that were supposed to be in the seats next to him?
Don't be an ageist, Dylan Brooks.
No, I'm not being an ageist, but,
those are just facts.
Well, yeah, we're just going to ignore
I witnessed them
all
myself. Those are just facts.
He put his hand out to shake somebody's hand and there was nobody there.
I mean, that's why what was the first thing he said, Tez? He's in condition to run or whatever the hell he said?
It was a disclaimer.
Yeah.
It was a disclaimer. You get ahead.
He said his age won't have anything to do with it, so we'll see.
He's trying to disarm all of the negative comments coming his way.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not interested. I mean, but they have no bench. Like, there's nothing else for us to even consider.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, they really don't have a bench. Like, seriously, I would love to see a debate for sure. But when you're talking about, and again, I'm for anybody that wants to debate, that's fine. But there's literally like no bench. Like, who would run against on the progressive side, Democrat? Like who?
Yeah, and even to say that that nobody's a serious contender. I mean, how do you know somebody's a serious contender if you don't ever give them that main stage? Like, we might not know I don't know anything about Bobby Kennedy. I know Marianne because, we've had conversations with her. She's going to be on Breakfast Club this morning, but I don't know anything about Bobby Kennedy. He might get that light and people might like him. Who knows?
Yeah, and Marianne Williamson brought up a good point. It's good to debate ideas as well.
That's
and,
right.
And I don't mean to minimize her and say she's not a serious candidate, but they don't look at her as somebody that can actually, pull enough votes to be a threat to him. So they don't even think it's worth their time. But I do think it is always important, to debate and discuss ideas and to push people, further to the left or right, which they were able to do, or center, if you will. They were able to do that in 2020. If they did not have those debates, Joe Biden would not have committed to a lot of the things that he did. And he did because Bernie Sanders was in that race. Senator Elizabeth Warren was in that race. And those debates, really did, bring up a lot of conversations that otherwise would have been avoided. So debates are a good thing.
I just feel like people are going to be be forced to vote for Joe Biden. They're not going to like it. They're not going to be excited. And I think we're going to have a major problem. I don't think a lot of people are going to come out because I don't think a lot of people necessarily love what Joe Biden has done in the last 3 years. And I think we're going to have a big problem this year.
That's a great point because, people always forget I may not vote for Biden, but I might not vote for Trump either. I might just not vote.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you want to go to Louisville?
Yeah, I want to go Louisville. Miles Cosgrove, a former Louisville police officer, who shot and killed Breonna Taylor in March 2020, became a law enforcement officer again in Carroll County, which is about 1 hour northeast of Louisville. Now, Carroll County Chief Deputy Rob Miller said, quote, "We felt like he was a good candidate, and we think he will help reduce the flow of drugs in our area and reduce property crimes." Now, Cosgrove was one of the 7 officers involved in the deadly raid against Taylor's apartment in the middle of the night. An FBI report later showed that it was Cosgrove's bullets that killed her. Cosgrove was fired, but he did not face any criminal charges in connection to the killing. 4 officers were formally charged by the Justice Department with civil rights violations, but he was not one of them. Now, in 2022, the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council voted to allow him to keep his police certification, making him eligible to work for other police departments in the state. Now, yesterday I talked to Until Freedom co-founder Tamika Mallory. Listen to her reaction to the news.
Miles Cosgrove being hired by another police department, a sheriff's office at that, is not a surprise. In fact, it happens with officers who have committed heinous crimes all the time across this nation. And our legislature on the federal level and the local state level, they're failing us on both sides of the aisle because they refuse to pass legislation that would stop this from happening. The people of Kentucky must stand up and make sure that the department that has now hired Cosgrove is not comfortable with this decision and that they do not go on with business as usual while Breonna Taylor's family has to deal with the unfortunate tragedy that took her life.
Tez, wasn't there a database that tracked criminal cops at one point? I feel like I remember reading something about that.
Yeah, in some states they do have them. It's also one of the things that we were pushing to get in the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act to have some type of tracking system. But what point is the tracking system when you have local counsel that can still put somebody, you know, in that position? So one is tracking, but two, how do we make sure, you know, that this doesn't happen again? And this is why, you know, I'm always talking about local and state. It matters, you know, who's on these councils, who gets to make these decisions, who gets to hire and fire. Sheriffs are normally elected positions. All of those things matter. So database is important, but what do we do with the database once we get that information?
It's like it discredits the fact that he was fired in the first place.
Correct.
That's right.
It makes it seem as though it's okay. Typically, if you lose your job under a certain set of circumstances, the next person that you're hoping to employ you would do a background check, do research. Not that, you know, he was low and that needed to be done, but it's really a slap in the face of the family, the friends, the public that they would do that. And it's kind of infuriating that they do it, and it's as though, it's like, so what? Mm-hmm. It's as though, so what? Yeah, we did it, and what?
I wonder how that works in like the medical field. Like if you get fired for medical malpractice, can you just get a job at another hospital?
I thought it was like a stain on your record. I didn't think you could.
It's a good analogy.
Well, normally, if you do get sued for medical malpractice, more than likely you may not be able to get insurance. And so in order to work in another healthcare facility, you need to be able to have your own insurance, and that can play a part in it as well. And again, this is why we talk about with the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act that was never passed, ending qualified immunity. You know, when you're able to go after police officers individually and how you're able to sue them and all of those things, you know, that come with that, all of those things play a factor. So that's a great question. And to your point, you know, one would argue that when they hire these officers, they are making a statement to say that you can continue to do whatever you do and we're going to have your back.
That's right.
Damn.
All right, well, that is front page news. Thank you, Tesla Figaro.
Absolutely.
And Ted's going to stick around, man, because we got Marianne Williamson coming in next. You know, Marianne Williamson is running for president, and Tez is going to stick around while we have that conversation with Miss Marianne Williamson.
Yep, and we'll do that when we come back, so don't move. Stay right there. It's The Breakfast Club on BET.
The Breakfast Club.
Everybody, it's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We have Teslin Figaro joining us on this interview. Tez, what up?
What's going on, family, Breakfast Club family, and Miss Williamson? Thank you for joining us.
That's right. We got a special guest, Miss Marianne Williamson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Always a pleasure to see you.
It's always a pleasure to see you, too. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're running for president again?
Yes, I am.
Why do you want to get back on this stressful grind, Miss Williamson?
Well, I've asked myself that a few times, but it took me a long time to decide whether or not to do it. And ultimately, I felt like I could make a contribution here. I think some things need to be said. I think some things need to be done. It's as simple as that.
Like what? Like what did you see in Biden's campaign that says there are some flaws and this is the reason why I want to run? What's not making you satisfied?
It's an incremental approach. It's a lack of fundamental economic reform. It's taking an unjust economic system and saying to people, I will try to help you survive an unjust economic system. But in the richest country in the world, why should the economic system be unjust? You have 20% of Americans for whom the economy is pretty good. But this 20% live on some kind of enchanted economic island surrounded by a vast sea of economic despair. 39% of Americans now report that they have skipped meals to pay their rent.
Dang.
That's 44% of millennials. We have 1 in 4 Americans who live with medical debt. 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And 60% of Americans could not afford an unexpected $400 expenditure. So no, things are not okay. Every other advanced democracy has universal health care, free college tuition, free child care, paid family leave, guaranteed sick pay, and a guaranteed livable wage. We need an economic U-turn in this country. We don't need more little fixes here. Oh, look what I've done for you. Maybe you can survive this. People's lives are falling apart. We call it a mental health crisis, but we don't want to they don't want to look at the deeper systemic causes of all this despair that is literally killing people.
Do you think that President Biden is too old to run again?
I wouldn't go there. I mean, everybody can see what they see, make their own decisions. You know, I'm not a young woman. I'm 70. I would not be running if I were 80. But at the same time, I don't want to take pot shots, and I don't think the American people don't need me to weigh in on that.
Now, Ms. Williamson, are you still an independent? Would you classify yourself as an independent?
I'm running as a Democrat, but I certainly think of myself as an independent thinker, and we need more Democrats with independent thinking. This codependent relationship with the DNC, where they've just decided that it's Biden. We should be, the Democrats claim to be the party that is protecting democracy. So why is it that Marianne Williamson, even Bobby Kennedy, now we're like invisibilized? I heard David Axelrod on television last night say Biden has no challenger, and Anderson Cooper didn't challenge him. We're all supposed to just do whatever they say. So the idea of a democratic process at a time like this, when the fascists are literally at the door, that we're not supposed to even be having a real conversation about, like, maybe what should we be presenting as the agenda to the American people in 2024? First of all, to win this election in 2024. More importantly, to repair this country.
I'm glad you used that word fascist, because I don't know why people are so afraid to use that word.
Well, they should look it up in the dictionary, because if you look at the policies of people such as Ron DeSantis in Florida, that's what fascism is.
So, Ms. Williamson, if you are an independent, what do you say then to your critics who are saying, you're splitting the Democrat vote, and that this campaign is just, a grifting, an opportunity to get a message out, but how you have a long shot? What is your answer to that, to your critics?
First of all, I'm a Democrat. I said I'm an independent thinker, but no, I'm a Democrat. So you can't be a spoiler if you're running as a Democrat. If somebody says something like Jill Stein, the point was that she was not running as a Democrat. This is a primary. What's the grift? That's really my question. So what's the grift? And if I were just trying to get a message out, first of all, that wouldn't be wrong. But I've done that before. You don't go through this kind of to just get a message out. If I just want to get a message out, I could write a book. I want to help change the system. This country needs an economic U-turn. This country is 6 inches from the cliff in terms of the state of our democracy, the state of our environment. So I think that no one should be apologizing for coming in and saying, no, this has got to change, because that system has proven to itself it will not change.
What would be different with you? Because we've heard this from every Democrat politician, that we would change this, we would change that. And it seems like when they get in office, nothing ever changes.
I mean, I'm not of that system. I don't owe that system anything. When somebody says she's committing political suicide, what political career do I have? I'm not tied to that system. This is why, where are they all? Seriously, you say you hear from them all. I don't hear them saying anything other than, yes, we will go with Biden. So, no. We need a character like a Roosevelt who goes in there and says, right now, look at something like the Willow Project that the president just approved. Oh my God, he had said when he was running, no drilling on federal lands. He has said that he recognizes that climate change is an existential threat to the human race. Meanwhile, he has given more drilling permits than even Trump did. And he has just approved the Willow Project, an $8 billion oil extraction project on the northern slopes of Alaska. Now he's actually, after that, even after all the outrage expressed, particularly by young people, he has now permitted and approved a project that will have to do with the exportation of liquefied natural gas. Why is this? Why is it that he says one thing and then does another? Because they are in the grip of the corporate aristocrats, the insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the big agricultural companies, the big chemical companies, the big food companies, in that case, big oil and defense contractors. I'm not held hostage by those people. I'm not part of that system.
Let's talk a little bit about your policy. One of the things that you stand out for, and I remember that quite well, when you ran the last time, was reparations. And just for clarity, all Black Americans, their only concern is not reparations. We all know that we raise children, we care about education, we care about many things across the board. But you do stand out as a reparationist candidate. Now, the current administration does support H.R. 40, which will create a study on reparations. And you have been very vocal about that. And so tell us how you feel about the current administration's position on H.R. 40 and what would be different for you.
So the Biden administration's position on H.R. 40 is exactly what I'm talking about. I knew John Conyers. He was a friend of mine. I raised my daughter in Detroit. John Conyers, if he were here today, he would be rolling his eyes. We don't need another study. We don't need another study. So for the Biden administration to say, oh, I support H.R. 40, which once again, John would say that was then, this is now. Okay. We've moved further. So we support H.R. 40, but of course Congress has to do it. That is the Biden administration in a nutshell. Kick that can down the road, do something performative where it sounds like, oh, I really support that. It means nothing. We are at a point now where a president who actually supports reparations, which I do simply because I want to see this country heal. A country is a group of individuals. It's run by the same principles. The principle here is you can't have the future you want if you will not clean up the past. Simple. It's rather transactional for me. We don't need another study, and we don't need a president who says, but Congress needs to do it. We need to have a president who invites some black leaders to Camp David for the weekend and says, okay, let's put on the table and start some negotiation. That is the president I would be, and that's the difference.
All right, we got more with Marianne Williamson when we come back. Don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Marianne Williamson. Of course, we have Teslin Figaro joining us as well. Charlamagne?
Why are you not afraid to speak on an issue like reparations when you know it'll alienate so many other communities that you need?
I'm not a people pleaser political candidate. I'm not here thinking, ooh, say this, say that. I'm doing this, as I said before, to say what I believe needs to be said. It's called leadership. You don't a real leader doesn't just say what you think people want to hear. There's no reason for me to do this except to say what I believe needs to be said. That's what I mean about somebody coming from outside the system. Ooh, you're not supposed to say that. We've done focus groups and that percentage of Americans won't like you. That's the point. You need somebody to whom that is like, so what?
So, Ms. Williamson, let me ask a follow-up on that then about lip service. So right now there's a California reparations task force. You come from California, correct?
Yeah. Well, I don't live there now, but I've lived many years there in my adult life, yes.
Okay, so have you been involved in the California task force in any way?
I haven't lived in California for probably 8 years.
Well, have you been involved in any task force anywhere?
Well, I've designed my own and I've written books about it. I've been writing about reparations, talking about it, doing racial healing circles since the end of the 1990s. And I have a plan for reparations I've run for president twice now, actually, putting that out to the American people, which is, I believe, a megaphone that matters.
Sure, but you just mentioned it's important to have black leaders at the table to talk about how do we do this. So I just want to be clear, and fair in asking, have you actually been involved with black leaders?
Yes, I have. I would say the person who has affected my thinking the most is Sandy Darity. Sandy Darity is the first person I talked to, and his wife as well. I feel I was mentored by his information. Do you know what I'm saying? He was the first person I said, could you please explain this to me? I've read books such as Ta-Nehisi Coates and heard others, but I would say Sandy Darity is the person who is, I think, whose counsel has... I like the way he frames it, and it has meant something to me. Yeah.
I was going to ask, talk about gun violence and all this violence that's happening in the U.S. in the last couple of years. What is your take on that, and how would you try to curb that and fix that?
On this one, I feel that Biden has his heart in the right place. He is trying. We need an assault weapon ban. Obviously, we need the banning of bump stocks. We need the banning of high-capacity magazines. We need the 3D to handle the issue of the 3D printers. But I think we need to move beyond the conversation of is it culture or is it policy? It is both. And I think with this latest spate of senseless, horrible, violent happenings, I think we're at a possibility of an inflection point. I sense both on the left and the right that there is a critical mass of Americans who feel this has gone too far. You have even Republican governors now giving a little bit in terms of things like federal red flag laws. So we know what we need to do. We know that easy access to guns is a large part of the problem. We know that we have more guns than people in this society, but we also know that we have a violent society. Our economic policies are violent. So much of our media is violent. So much of even our food policies. We are a violent society. And there are millions of people, I don't know about millions of people, there are many people making billions of dollars off breeding violence and breeding fear. So we're going to have a violent society until we decide to be a non-violent society.
And you think we'll get some type of common sense gun reform when you have the President of the United States of America saying that he's powerless and that, you know, he has to beg Congress to do something, and you know you have so many of these GOP senators that, you know, they get direct funding from these gun lobbyists like the NRA. You seem like you have some optimism. I don't see it.
There was a time, Obama was an example, first year of the Obama administration, he had a Democratic House and he had a Democratic Senate. So we had a trifecta at that time. Biden would say, and there's some truth to it, that even though he had a Democratic House and Senate in his first 2 years, that Manchin and Sinema were stopping him on many things. So not every Democrat is with us on this issue. We have 3 co-equal branches of government. The president doesn't have a magic wand, and we don't want that. We need more Americans who are willing to recognize we must get involved in the primaries. We must get involved in every election. And also at this point when it comes to guns, and I think more progressives and more young people, more people realize we must get involved on our community level, on our state level, because a lot of the worst aspects of all of these things we're talking about are now coming out of the state houses.
But to hear a president say he's powerless, I understand, you know, you need Congress, you absolutely do, but you got the biggest bully pulpit in the world.
Well,
like,
that's how I feel. And I would certainly use it. I would certainly use it. Not only the biggest bully pulpit, but executive orders that you can use. You know, there has been a tendency of Democratic governments in the Democratic presidents in the modern era to back up when things get tough. We had an assault weapon ban for 10 years, and during those 10 years, we did have much fewer mass shootings.
So, Ms. Williamson, what because I've heard a lot about what the Biden administration is doing wrong. Tell me about your top. If you had to pick 3 top policies that you would focus on, first 100 days, or what do you see as you have a lot of issues on your website, I know they're all equally important, but if you had to give us 3 on what you think is the most important thing to do right away, what would that be?
We need universal health care in this country. We have 1 in 4 Americans living with medical debt. We have 68,000 Americans a year who die from lack of health care. We have 85 million Americans who are either uninsured or underinsured. We have 18 million Americans who cannot afford to fulfill the prescriptions that their doctors give them. So movement towards universal health care is very important to me. I would cancel the college loan debt. We need to get back to free college in this country, which we had until the 1960s. I would have every single penny of the Pentagon audited. I would make sure that every company that has a contract with the U.S. government that is a union-busting company that those contracts are canceled. I would call together the group that I would like to go to Camp David to have a serious conversation about reparations. Also, talking about racial issues, I would call Tim Scott and Cory Booker into the Oval Office and say, bring whoever you want. We're not leaving this office until we have a serious bipartisan bill on police reform. BLM, for example, biggest protest movement in the history of this country, and there's not been one serious piece of legislation that has addressed the issues of police violence and what is obviously going on there, that something is very, very wrong.
I often wonder if any of that stuff is realistic, like the student loan debt, the police reform, maybe just because I've become such a pessimist because of the system. Mm-hmm. I just wonder if any of that stuff is realistic or is just lip service that
because they want you to think that. Yeah. Because they want you to think that. So this is the deal. The Republicans don't even pretend. But the Democrats are like, we're, just bring us in again. Let us finish the job. Bring us in again. We're really trying on that. We're really trying. That's what they want you to think. They want us to think, well, I guess it just can't be done. Why the hell can't it be done? Every other advanced democracy has universal health care. Every other advanced democracy has free college. Every other advanced democracy has free child care, paid family leave, guaranteed sick pay, and guaranteed living wage. The reason it can't be done is because they are in the pockets of the insurance companies, because they are in the pockets of the pharmaceutical companies, food companies, chemical companies, big oil and defense contractors. And so they've numbed us. And they've known like, well, I guess I can't. I guess we can't do it. We're like acquiescing to that. Meanwhile, that's the way you get the fascists. You have 100 million people who don't vote. I think for many people, it's the only way to say F you to that system. Mm-hmm. It's a dysfunctional, but I think an understandable reaction to a system that is doing nothing for them and that they know no matter who they elect, their visceral experience is that I'm still at the effect of an unfair economic system, which is policy after policy, making it easier for those who already have money to make more money and more difficult for everybody else to even survive. The American people have got to do an intervention here. That is the only way it's going to happen, is if we bring someone from the outside and say, this shit stops now.
All right, we got more with Marianne Williamson. When we come back, don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Marianne Williamson. She's running for president in 2024. And we have Teslin Figaro, our political strategist, with us. Tez.
So, Ms. Williamson, I am known to be pretty tough on candidates, when I'm asking questions. And, so I have to be fair and ask, I certainly appreciate the theory. I appreciate, writing books and great ideas. But in fairness, would you say that you bring experience on any level of government of actually getting, even small things done? Or what I'm looking for the receipts. What can we point to say, okay, this is the candidate that can actually get X, Y, Z done, or get us a little bit closer to it when you talk about, all of these things, particularly when you talk about the Black community?
So first of all, just in general, you're asking if I have the sort of technical expertise to perpetuate that system. Washington, D.C. is filled with political car mechanics. Some of them are very good, and certainly you have to hire those people and have them in your administration. The problem today is not that we don't have good political car mechanics. The problem is we are on the wrong road. So that question stems from this conversation that says, only people whose careers have been spent within the car that drove us into this ditch should possibly be considered qualified to lead us out of that ditch. My expertise is not that I know how to perpetuate and effectuate that system. My expertise is that I know something about disrupting it. And if you want to know that, listen to everything I've said here today.
Yeah, no, Ms. Williamson, respectfully, that's not what I'm saying. And using your analogy, what I'm saying is, have you ever touched a carburetor? Have you ever touched a motor? Have you ever touched anything, in the car
so,
that I can it? And I'm certainly not talking about a career. I'm saying that if, again, going back to the example on a task force, if there are active task force now on reparations, and I see any candidate for that matter not getting involved in having those conversations now and speaking from a theory standpoint, it does I'm kind of taken aback by it, because I want to know if you're willing to get your hands dirty now, rolling up your sleeves to see what you can do now at your level. So that's what I'm asking.
I think we all do in the field that we can. I think I've gone far towards helping to create the conversation in the United States, which actually led to things like the situation in California. Everybody has their role. One of the things I have seen, and yes, I've been around a lot of people in politics, it's a business like any other. It's a business like any other. It's people sitting around a room, talking, negotiating. And yes, I have been as much of a businesswoman as any of the men who would come in here and be businessmen, and no one would say, well, would you know how to do it? So yes, I believe that I've worked with many, many people. But more than anything, I feel that I have the power to say what needs to be said and not obfuscate. But yes, I've had plenty of experience at business, and I've been in political circles enough, including observing even at the White House, to see this is a political system like any other. It's men sitting around, women sitting around a table, just like we're doing now, having a conversation and talking about what we are going to do.
I wonder if you need experience as much as you need will.
That's right. Thank you.
Like Trump didn't have no experience. He just had the will.
Thank you. And you know what?
That's for his party.
Thank you very much. The issue with him was not that he didn't have political experience. It's the issue of his character, his ethics. You're right. He could have if he had brought in a different type of person, he chose to bring in a Stephen Miller or Sebastian Gorka. He's a perfect example. You can't say he wasn't an effective president. Mm-hmm. He was effective at doing things that most of us would be horrified by. But he certainly was effective.
People don't like to have that conversation. Media always talks about what Republicans and Trump get wrong. What do you believe they get right that can be used to fight against them?
Well, one of the things that Trump did, and I wouldn't say it was right, but it was powerful. He struck a nerve. He hit a nerve, and the nerve he hit had to do with harnessing some of the worst aspects of the American character: racism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, all those things that we know are the lower aspects of American consciousness. I think we need a president who harnesses the better aspects of American consciousness, the better angels of our nature. Justice. Justice, thy shall pursue. The book of Deuteronomy. We do not have economic justice in this country. We do not have criminal justice in this country. We do not have racial justice in this country. We do not have environmental justice in this country. But we need a politics that speaks to the noble in people, that speaks to, we must be a just nation. We must be a fair nation, that speaks to what it takes to have a humanitarian rather than an economic bottom line. We now have a country, and I think that there are many people on the right as well as the left who see this now. We have a country where the bottom line in the way we function is short-term profit maximization for huge corporate entities rather than humanitarian values. You were talking about children before. We have millions of American children who go to school in schools where they don't even have the resources to teach that child to read. If a child cannot learn to read by the age of 8, the chances of high school graduation are drastically decreased. The chances of incarceration are drastically increased. We have in Chicago, in the public school system in Chicago, I was reading an article that 1 out of 4 girls in the public school system in Chicago would be diagnosed with PTSD, as bad as a returning veteran from a battle zone. But remember, these kids, they're not living with post-traumatic stress. They're living with present traumatic stress every single day, activated. And we need a president who speaks to that and cares about that. Right now, children, they're not old enough to vote, so they're not a constituency. They're not old enough to work, so they have no financial leverage. We need a massive transfer of our resources in the direction of children under 10, and that's in every neighborhood of the United States.
I just want to clarify one thing, because when Charlamagne talked about experience as well, and when I'm talking about experience, I'm certainly, just because I don't want anybody to hear this interview and get confused by what I mean, I'm certainly not talking about being elected or holding some type of office. I'm mainly talking about grassroots. So I'll just leave this statement that I think it is, Ms. Williamson, very important to get involved in things like the task force that they're taking public comment right now. Everyday citizens, they're putting their faces and names, in black and white to say how they feel. And so when you talk about a bully pulpit, I think that's a great way to start. And so when we look at what Kamala Moore is doing, as the chair of the reparations committee in California, a city you once lived in, or state you once lived in, and a state you once ran in, I think it is critically important, to get your position on the record, because as these things happen on the state level, they obviously can happen on the federal level. And so that's very important to me, to see what can we do with our voice now. And so if everyday citizens can do it, if they can take out time, to go down and do a 5-minute testimony, many of them have been doing it electronically online. I think it's very important for any candidate running for president of the United States to do it as well.
Yeah, I hear that, and I appreciate that. I also think if you've been writing books about the subject that have sold to millions of people for decades, starting in the late 90s, your voice has been heard as well. I think we're all contributing to a larger conversation. Everybody does what is theirs to do.
Yeah, I think Ted is talking specifically about reparations, but like you said, you've written books, so that is
I was writing about reparations in 1998, my first book.
Oh, sure. So. And I'm not minimizing that. I'm just,
I understand what you're saying.
Everybody, I'm certainly not minimizing that.
Well, I don't live in California, and I haven't lived in California for years, so I think my strolling into California to say something in a public comment section on California when I'm not a citizen of California. But I do think I understand what you're saying. And
I'm not minimizing what you're saying. There's task force everywhere, and people are commenting everywhere, even in California. I'm just saying, there's things happening now on the local and the state level that I would like any candidate, not just you. And it's not minimizing you and your books and all of the things that you wrote. I'm just saying when we criticize candidates for being lip service, those are one of the things that I always ask for. What are we doing?
Well, is there another president? Is there another presidential candidate talking about reparations right now?
No, I criticize them just as well, ma'am, even worse. Yeah. But I'm still going to ask you the questions.
and I think running for president is a way that you are contributing to the political commentary. So I think by running for,
All right. Well, we appreciate you for stopping.
Marianne
we'll see you
Williamson.
again.
Thank you.
What's the website?
Marianne2024.com.
Okay. Always a pleasure to see you, Ms. Williamson.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you, too. Thank you for having me, Charlamagne. Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Thank you so much. It's Marianne Williamson. She's running for president, guys. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. All right, well, let's get to the rumors. Let's get straight to it.
Rumor has it. Rumor has it.
Call out a name, or you gossiping, or you chatty patty.
I'm gossiping.
This is the Rumor Report.
I mean, I guess we on the Breakfast Club. This is where the tea spills, right?
Yes, on the Breakfast Club.
All right, now the national best-selling book, Real Life, Real Love, hits paperback today. That's why Gia Casey is our guest co-host today.
National bestseller.
Real Life, Real Love, the life lessons on joy, pain, and the magic that holds us together. Now, Gia, if somebody could get one thing out of this book that can help their relationship, what would it be?
I think that the book is excellent regarding getting people to understand that family values is paramount. And for us, we have our mission statement in the book. And our family is rooted in family, love, faith, fun, and it really it delves very deeply into that.
Okay. And their marriage isn't perfect.
Yes.
I like that chapter a lot, especially the part of, the things nobody tells you about marriage.
Yes.
I think that's people can learn a lot from that.
Yes.
Because everybody got so many things to say about marriage, but they ain't never been married.
That is true. Haven't been through the
a
ups
lot
and
of people
downs,
have a lot of opinions.
That's right. And it's on the job training.
And I had a conversation with my son the other day, and one of the things that I said to him...
Charlamagne calls our son the man of the house, but go ahead.
Logan is the man of the house.
I don't know if I would argue that.
It's obvious to everybody. Jesus.
But I told him that 95% of the advice that you get during your lifetime is going to be bad advice.
That's true.
So don't weigh too heavily into what other people tell you and their thoughts, feelings, and emotions as it pertains to your life.
That's right. Well, the book is out now. You can get it at Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, wherever you get your books, and that's Real Life, Real Love. Now, Gia's going to be doing some of these rumors, so what's going on with Stevie J now?
Okay, Stevie J ordered to return Faith Evans' $164,000 Mercedes after joyriding to Coachella. Stevie J allegedly took Faith's 2023 Mercedes Sprinter van on a joyride to Coachella. On April 12th, she claimed that after she fell asleep, Stevie took the keys and drove off with the car.
Damn.
Despite her best efforts to ask him to return the car, he refused and took the car to Coachella.
Why would you drive a Sprinter? The whole point of being in the Sprinter is not to drive it.
Because he had his peeps with him,
I'm
apparently.
sure he had a bunch of people with him. I'm sure they
That's
all
the whole
went.
point, to be all in the back with your peoples laughing
Well,
and
we
joking.
don't know if he drove, but they went. I'm sure he didn't drive.
Oh, okay, I thought he drove.
I'm sure he was in the back. I'm sure he had a good time. I'm sure they was partying and all
Well,
that.
he shouldn't have been behind the wheel because Faith said that Stevie has a suspended driver's license and can't legally operate a motor vehicle.
Damn.
He filed for divorce in November 2021 after 3 years of marriage. The couple did not sign a prenuptial agreement before getting hitched. Stevie demanded monthly spousal support payments from Faith. She objected to the request. The court has yet to rule. Let me ask you guys a question. Well, two. First, do you guys know why they got divorced?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Okay, you don't know. Two, being two men in the room. How do you feel about men requesting spousal support from a woman?
I'm fine with it.
If he is able-bodied, if he, can work of his own volition,
I'm fine with it.
if he's not impeded in any way,
I'm fine with it.
if he can fend for himself.
I'm
ignoring you. I don't know if you noticed that.
I'm fine
I'm kind
with
of directing my attention
I'm
to
fine with it.
Charlamagne.
If I'm married to Oprah Winfrey, we get a divorce. I'm not supposed to get some of that money.
No, but what if the two of you are two
Women be doing it for
relatively
lifetimes.
relatively equal earners? Maybe she's making a little bit more
Women be
than
doing
you.
it for
The same thing can be said for a woman, so we got to believe in equality, right?
Equality,
It can't be a double standard because
No.
there's plenty of able-bodied women out here that can do that.
And I understand that logically, but I'm kind of leaning more into as a man.
What if I helped
How
you
do
build
you
what
feel
you got?
about that?
What if I helped you build what you got? What if I was your manager at some point?
I'm
What if
not
I was your
objecting.
business partner?
I'm just wondering.
You know, what if I sacrificed years of my life to help you get to where you
Because
are?
typically that's the woman's argument, correct?
Yes.
Yes. But okay, logically it makes sense. But how do you feel about it being a man? Do you feel okay about it?
You know what's crazy? To me, it just depends on who the woman is.
I was thinking the same
How
thing.
I be feeling.
I was thinking
it depends
the same
on
thing.
It depends on the woman, right? Like, there's certain women we see that happen to, and I'm like, now why are you doing that to her?
Right, I was thinking the same thing.
But then there's other
Because
women-
she's nice? Because she's a sweet woman? What do you
Because I
mean it
felt like
depends
you
on the
took
woman?
I look at her
of
like
her.
an icon, depending who it is.
Yes.
Say that again?
Because sometimes I feel like the man took advantage of her, and now that things didn't go the right way, maybe he cheated, maybe something.
Well, see, if you get a divorce because you cheated and stuff like that, that's on you. You don't deserve any of that spousal
Let's just
support.
say that it's
Correct.
amicable.
If it's
we
amicable,
grew apart. Do you
yes.
and he's able-bodied.
Yes,
I believe you should get spousal support if it's amicable.
And you feel okay. You feel okay
Yes,
about
if
that.
I helped you build what you, if I helped you build what you got and helped you create what
need
you
that.
create, and we just separated because we decided to go our separate ways. There was no infidelity. There was no other kids. Yes, I should get.
I'd love
some
to know what
spousal
women
support.
think. But all right, on to the next story.
Now, Suge Knight, he claims Snoop Dogg illegally acquired Death Row. All right, during an interview with TMZ, Suge accused his former business partner, Harrio, of committing bankruptcy fraud to acquire the label from him.
But how do you feel about Snoop owning it now?
Well, I don't know. If he do, I doubt that. Suge Knight is Death Row. So I'm quite sure, before it's said and done, all eyes on me and Machiavelli out of Fox have definitely come back to me. And the rest of the stuff. One problem with that is that Snoop has a partner, which is Michael Harris. They committed fraud. They committed bankruptcy fraud. I didn't lose my company by doing anything wrong. They went in and a lawyer didn't show up, and they got a default judgment. I settled the judgment. They turned around and said I didn't settle the judgment. When they filed bankruptcy in '95, they said it had nothing to do with Death Row or anything. And the lawyer did also. So you can't take Death Row from black people to try to give it to white people and think you're going to turn around and reward and say he going to grab Snoop and they going to go get it back and have Death Row. It don't work like that.
Well, Snoop definitely owns Death Row now. I know he purchased it about a year ago from, at the time it was Koch Records who owned it and who owned the catalog, but I know Snoop owns it. I know he didn't get everything that was released under Death Row, but he got a majority of it, so I do know Snoop owns it, and that is your rumor report. I just want to tell you, Logan just texted me and you. I am. I guess what I said, he's the man in the house. I said, boy, I will beat your ass when I get over. I will beat your ass.
You cannot beat Logan ass.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's true either.
You cannot beat Logan. We've all seen Logan.
My money would be on Logan.
Mine too.
Yeah. Have you seen those guns?
Have you seen my guns?
Yes, we have. Okay.
I'm talking about my tattoo in the shoe.
I'm talking about in a fair fight.
Logan's guns need to be banned. Yours don't. Okay.
Right.
Yours can be had in every household.
Oh, and Logan, how you little sweet baby?
All right.
Drop on the clues bombs for Logan, the man of the house.
Stop it.
Put your
Take
daddy
that
on his
bomb
back one time and just let him know.
All right. Okay. All right. Don't get Logan effed up. All right. Who you giving that donkey to, man?
Man, 4 after the hour, a young lady named Courtney Talalia needs to come to the front of the congregation. She was in one career field, but God told her to go to another one. We'll discuss.
All right. We'll get to that next. So don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Your mornings will never be the same.
Your company has goals this year. Find the right people to help you achieve them with ZipRecruiter, where 4 out of 5 employers get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/breakfast. That's ZipRecruiter.com/breakfast.
This don't be a donkey, because right now you want some real donkey.
It's time for Donkey of the Day. So if you ever feel I need to be a donkey, man, hit it with the heat.
Did she get donkey today? Please tell me.
I have become donkey of the day.
The Breakfast Club, bitches.
We're donkeys.
Yes, Donkey today for Tuesday, April 25th goes to Courtney Talia. Courtney is a former teacher from America who grew up in a strict Christian household. What does strict Christian household mean exactly? I grew up Jehovah's Witness. JWs identify as Christians. If I remember correctly, they teach that Jesus is the Son of God, but not part of the locks. So they're not a holy trinity. They teach that Jesus died for our sins and was resurrected after crucifixion. So that's definitely a Christian belief. I guess JWs are strict when I think about it. Don't celebrate any holidays or birthdays, things like that. You know, they demand high standards of morality, right? Their view of sexual behavior reflects conservative Christian views. Abortion is considered murder. Homosexuality, premarital sex, extramarital sex are all considered serious sins. That's Christian, right? Yeah. Adultery, sex, before marriage is forbidden. Got to get baptized. Look, 63% of Americans are Christian, so a lot of us know what it means to grow up in a strict Christian household. That's all I'm saying. Well, Courtney, who I told you was a former teacher, is only a former teacher because she quit her job teaching. Okay, she quit her job teaching because according to her, she had a higher calling. All right, God touched her soul and put an anointing on her spirit, and that anointing led her to make a career change. Would you like to know what that career change was? Well, let's flash back to a few months ago when Courtney was on the Dr. Phil show. Listen.
You said you want to overcome the stigma of people thinking that you don't have other options.
Right.
But that's not the real stigma, is it? The real stigma is judging you doing sex work, sex acts, sexual content for the public. That's the real judgment that you face, right?
Right. There's a lot of judgments about it, but people have a lot of stigmas around sex workers that we only had this as the only option, or we have issues, or we only did it for the money, versus actually knowing that, like, I did this because I desire to.
Whoa. So if you're confused, Courtney quit being a Catholic school teacher to become a porn star. She quit being a teacher to start her OnlyFans. She said God told her to do it. She said God's message has been abundantly clear. I'm here to be a porn star. This is my way of serving. I'm showing others that pleasure and our sexual expression, even in porn and sex work, aren't meant to contradict God or exist separately from God. They are unified with God and holy. How many holes? See, pornos have a holy trinity too. Okay, and that holy trinity is mouth, vagina, anus. Also, as crazy as it sounds, porn stars and religious folks actually have more in common than you think. Why do religious folks and porn stars kneel? Envy, gear, would you like to guess?
Shh, I don't know.
Well, they both kneel because porn stars are waiting for the first coming and religious folks are waiting for the second coming.
Wow. Okay. You didn't have to do that, though. That was creative, though. Very creative.
I really feel like I'm judging. I really feel like I'm judging, which the good book tells me not to do. Do not judge or you will be judged. But I'm not really judging because I don't really care. This is just, a great story. I actually find this story hilarious, but it also saddens me because only in America would a person get paid more for swallowing kids than she does for educating them. All right. The more I think about it, I really have no reason to give this woman donkey today. Okay. We can't say God works in mysterious ways and then criticize someone for how God talks to them. Okay. Not to mention, even as a porn star, while spreading her legs, she will still be spreading the word because she will be calling for our Creator while she is doing her public service.
Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Oh my God!
Now, before y'all report me to the FCC,
I was about to report you.
That wasn't a woman having sex. Okay, that was a woman who came face to face with a trio of humpback whales in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
That's a fact. Okay, that was a woman who came face to face with a trio of humpback whales in Hawaii. I can only assume that's how Courtney will sound when she comes face to face, or from the back, with a trio of three wise men from the east. Okay, the Lord said, "Come as you are." All right, but as a Catholic school teacher, I guess she felt she wasn't coming enough. So I'm calling an audible. Courtney, you are in the clear. Because after I have had this conversation with myself and said this out loud, I don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. So please give all you sick individuals who think this woman is doing something wrong the biggest hee-haw. What's wrong with y'all? That woman got an anointing.
So Courtney's a Catholic school teacher that doesn't want to teach anymore.
She quit.
And become a porn star.
That's right.
You want to play a game?
No, I do not want to play.
You don't play a game?
No, I don't want to play. The credits are rolling on BET right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
I can't, and they can't clear the music for the Guess What Race It Is on BET.
But what is she?
White, I think.
You think?
I mean, from what I've seen.
Courtney? Yeah, well, Courtney could be black too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
White Jesus told her to quit her job.
There you go.
Okay, as a teacher to become a porn star.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that donkey today. All right. Now, shout out to everybody on BET. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
That's right. Let's see if y'all can clear that one with standards.
All right. Now, everybody else, let's open up the phone lines. 800-585-1051. Our co-host, my wife, Gia, is here. We have a book that came out today, the paperback to our book, Real Life, Real Love, our national bestseller. And we're going to ask 800-585-1051. All the married couples out there, this is the question. Before I got married, I wish somebody told me what? That is the question. 800-585-1051. We'll take your calls. Mine is, before I got married, I wish somebody told me my wife was always going to be late.
Wow. Was I late this morning?
Except this morning.
Well, she is Jamaican. It's not a stereotype if it's true.
Jamaicans always late.
It's not a stereotype if it's true.
Hold on, I've never heard that stereotype.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
I heard Jamaicans were lazy. I heard they were.
I ain't never heard that
Right,
one.
stop
I've
the
never heard that
defamation.
one. I've
All
never heard Jamaicans. I've actually heard the opposite. Jamaicans are not lazy.
Oh, they have
Jamaicans
mad
got
jobs.
Three
Yes,
jobs.
don't
Three
you
jobs.
remember?
Three jobs, yeah,
That's right.
In Living Color?
All right, so I take off the lazy.
I heard they was always late.
Yeah, no, they ain't late. But anyway, before I got married, I wish somebody told me what. Let's open up the phone lines and talk about it. 800-585-1051. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Steady calling my phone,
It's topic time. Call 800-585-1051 to join into the discussion with The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host, Gia, here.
Hello, beautiful people.
Now, we have a national best-selling book that's out today on paperback, Real Life, Real Love. So if you get a chance to go out there and get it, you can order it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, or wherever you purchase your books. And she's here today, and we're opening up the phone lines, 800-585-1051. Before I got married, I wish somebody told me this. That is the question. So we'll start with you, Gia. Before you got married, I wish somebody told you what?
That it wasn't a cakewalk. That it wasn't as easy as television and fairy tales make it out to be. That it takes diligence and day-to-day hard work and dedication.
I'm not that easy?
There are times that you are, but the overarching idea of marriage isn't easy because there's so many different layers to it. Okay. There's love, there's family, there's the business aspect of it.
That's right.
There's so many things to peel back, and each one of those layers have sub-layers. So those are things that you have to consider before you decide to say I do, before you walk down that aisle. Because most people, when they envision marriage, they think more about the wedding. You know, they think of the spectacle of it and the beautiful dress, the bachelorette party, and that's all so exciting. But when those days are over, you're back from your honeymoon and you have to dig your heels in, then you start running into problems. And you have to know how to navigate those problems. And if you didn't learn from your parents as an example, where do you learn from? And just like I said earlier, people turn to the wrong people for advice, people that aren't qualified to give them advice. And a lot of times the actions that people take to deal with those problems aren't rooted in reality. It's not rooted in actuality. It's not rooted in trust. So they don't know what to do. So what do? They act out of emotion. And when you act out of emotion, 9 times out of 10, it's a bad reaction and it's going to garner a bad result. So I think that people have to make it very, very, they have to be very proactive about learning about marriage before they decide to say I do.
Wow, I just want to put that out there, that Real Life, Real Love paper book is right now, and we discuss all that. Good plug, good segue. Now, what about you, Charlamagne?
I wish people told me nothing. You know what I mean? Because it's because it's on the job training. Like, and everyone's experience is different. You know, what works for you may not work for me, and there's no one set way to do this marriage thing. Like, marriage is not one size fits all. Marriage is a tailor-made, custom outfit that is exclusive to you and your significant other. So you can tell me your experiences, but don't tell me how my marriage is going to be, because you really don't know, because you're not me and you're not my significant other.
I don't think that's inherently true, because there are things that are right and wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
And it's so interesting to me that a lot of times married people engage in the wrong behavior, knowing damn well that it's wrong. And I do think that there are things that they're not educated to know before they get married. So I do think that, you know, there are things that a person, even without the experience of being married, can share with you to help you navigate your marriage. You know, even if
I agree.
If they don't walk the same walk as you.
Yeah, I guess for me it's like when things go wrong, you'll have people be like, well, I would have did this and I would have did that, but you not.
That's ridiculous.
Us.
Right, yeah.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So you know, in that aspect, I'm like, you can't tell me how to do my marriage.
But is there something that someone could have told you before you got married that could have helped you? something that maybe you just didn't really realize?
I don't know. I also don't know because I didn't see a lot of healthy marriages
Right.
coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom and dad got a divorce. Damn near all my aunts got divorced. You know what I mean? So I didn't really see a lot of relationships. I saw a lot of long relationships that didn't last.
Right.
You know, so they were together for a long time, but then they all decided to go separate ways. So I didn't really have too many healthy relationships to look at growing up.
So I think that kind of like answers the question in a sense. Maybe someone couldn't have told you something, but you probably would have benefited from good examples.
Good examples,
Yes.
absolutely.
Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, who's this?
Yo, this B from Carolina, man.
What's up, B? Talk to us.
What up, B?
Before you got married, you wish somebody told you what?
Yo, before I got married, promise you I wish somebody told me it's more to it than just cheating. Like, I thought as long as I was faithful, everything else would be good.
Wait, what was the last thing he said?
He said as long as he was faithful, he thought everything would be good. So what's going wrong? What's the matter? What's bad in the relationship, I should say?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it'd be a little thing like they want to be like held all the time, and they want to just know who you texting, who you talking to, what time you gonna be home, what time you leaving, and I'm just like it's a little, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, yo, I don't cheat, so why we?
So you don't want her to care? You don't want her to care is what you're saying? That sounds like care.
You don't want to hold her at night?
Hold on. I ain't say all the time. I said sometimes. You know what I mean? It's just like sometimes that's cool, but sometimes if you trust in your person, your other mate and everything.
Man, nowadays people not checking where you are because they concerned you out doing dirt. They checking where you are because the world is crazy.
The world is crazy. Hello, who's this?
Hi, good morning. This is Unique from Miramar, Florida.
Hey, Unique
from Miramar.
Good morning. So 2 things.
Go.
Firstly, as it relates to Jamaican are always late, I can testify with that.
100%.
I'm Jamaican and I'm always late no matter what.
See, Rashawn, apparently it's in my blood.
Well, Gear's always late too, so y'all on the same plane.
You should go easier on me then.
Yes, and then as it relates to the husband question, I did not know that I would have been my husband's maid.
Oh, you maid? You got to do the cleaning, the cooking, and everything.
I got to do everything. If we're going on vacation, I have to be packing for him. I got to pick up his socks because, he gets home. He takes off his socks all over, leave them. Even the dog is even much more helpful than he is.
What does he do?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you work?
And I work, and I go to school full-time, and plus we have 3 kids, but he's like an additional kid.
Well, now you got 3 jobs. You work, you go to school, and you're the maid.
Tell me about it. He said because he does the yard work, he can't do the yard work and the housework.
That's true.
I agree.
That sounds like y'all are equally distributing duties.
Okay, let's just be reasonable here. Yard work is not a daily job.
It's a tough job.
That's my point. You don't cut the grass every single day.
We have a yard, and it gets maintained once or twice a week.
You can do the yard work.
Exactly.
Would you want to cut the grass? You don't sound like a yard woman.
No, I'm not. But, that does not say you cannot help me around the house because you have to cut the lawn.
So what are you going to do about it? You're disgruntled.
You
don't like the situation that you're in. What are you going to do about it?
I complain all the time, but then it's like you complain today, you help, but then next week it's like a whole different story over again.
So why don't you stop?
Because she gives him the Jamaican D, and then she's happy after.
You mean she gets the...
Yeah, but then also
the
Jamaicans are very like OCD when it comes to cleaning. So like even though you complain, it's like at the end of the day you have to get it done.
Okay. Can I ask you one question, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Are you with a Jamaican man?
Yes, he's Jamaican as well.
Is it true about Jamaican man eating the poom poom?
or should you say not eating the poom poom?
I mean, man is Chinese Jamaican.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my mother's half Chinese
wild.
Jamaican.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Well, that means,
it means they like rice with it.
Good looking texture.
Oh, they eat unique things?
And that too.
They eat unique things is what she's saying.
You heard what Gia said?
What?
Say what you said. Okay, say what you can say it. Me and Charlamagne can't.
I said it means they eat rice with it.
Whoa.
She's Chinese Jamaican.
I'm Chinese Jamaican.
Chinese Jamaican. I'm going to throw that out there. 800-585-1051. We're asking, before I got married, I wish somebody told me what. We're taking your calls when we come back. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Call me.
opinion to the Breakfast Club topic. Come on. 800-585-1051.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, if you're just joining us, we're opening up the phone lines and asking 800-585-1051. Before I got married, I wish somebody told me what? Hello, who's this?
This is Jeremiah.
Now, before I got married, I wish somebody told me what, Jeremiah?
How hard it is to compromise and come to agreement.
You didn't know that beforehand?
I didn't know how hard it was, because I learned that women don't listen a lot.
That's a conclusion that you came to, huh?
Yeah. I mean, but it is true though, because now this day and age, women have came to it's like independent, only them by themselves. Like they don't need a dude for anything or anything like that.
I don't hear that as much as I used to when Beyonce was single. When Beyonce was out here doing independent women and all of that, that's when women were really on that. I don't hear that as much no more. I hear women saying they want a partner. That's what
I hear it a lot. I feel like I hear it more now.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of women claiming their independence, and you hear a lot, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I can do it for myself. And I think that makes a lot of men feel off-put by women, because it's like, well, if you don't need me, then what am I here for? And truthfully, everyone wants to feel needed.
Well, go cut your own grass.
Go cut your own grass today. Hello, who's this?
Hi, this is Nicole.
Hey, Nicole. Good morning. Where you calling from?
The Met, South Carolina.
803.
All right. So we're asking, before I got married, I wish somebody told me what, Nicole?
I wish somebody had told me that you got to communicate about literally everything. So I've been single. I was single for 7 years before I married my husband, and I can't even just go to happy hour afterwards. And it's not a bad thing. It's just a new thing that I just communicate to him every single time that I go someplace.
You married now. You going to the club, you going to the bar, you going to a restaurant. Let me know so I know you safe. I know where you at. I ain't got to worry and think about where you at.
I get it. It's just different.
She's like, I did not know that I was going to lose all of my freedom.
You do. Well, not your freedom, but it's just somebody cares about you.
No, actually, it's freedom. It's freedom where you are free to do as you please without having to consent with someone else.
Correct. And I mean, again, it's an adjustment for me being single for 7 years and then getting married. And I'm like, dang, all I did was just go to the bar. But I understand why, though.
Nicole, where you going after work today?
I got on the track practice. I'm a coach.
All right, well, you better go. Where you coach? You coach where at?
At Sumter, South Carolina.
What do you train?
I'm sorry?
What sports do you train? What
track?
I know she track, but what?
Track
what event?
What event?
Specifically sprint.
Oh, word. I'm gonna send my son down to you now. He's not doing football. He's doing track, and he's number 2 in New Jersey, but he needs some training because he's only been doing it for a year from football. I'm gonna send him down to you for a week.
We can get him right.
I'm serious. All right, stay on the line. Hold on.
Yeah. All right.
I don't even know if we can trust her. She might be a killer or something like that, but we're gonna send Logan down there since Logan want to talk about he the man in the house, so we're gonna send his ass down there. Hello, who's this?
Hello, it's Brandy.
Hey, Brandy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Where you calling from, Brandy?
I'm calling from San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, we're asking, before I got married, I wish somebody told me what?
Man, that is definitely on the job training, as Charlamagne has said. It's marriage is a full-time, no days off job. I wish someone would have told me that.
That is real work. That is not just, you get married and everything is hunky-dory. You got to continue to work on it every day.
Right.
How long you been married?
Both parties got to be able to put in the work.
That's right.
We've been together 21 years, married 12.
See, that's a long time. And then y'all got forever. And technically, you should have forever to go, right?
But let me ask you a question. Does it feel like the way that you said it? Does it feel like marriage is like the old ball and chain, or are you spinning it in a positive way?
Now, changing generational curses with the kids, I'm trying to change things. It's more of sitting down, talking about if they get into trouble. A lot of times you'll find in the marriage, both parents, they don't have the same co-parenting. So that's a very tough one. You don't have the same co-parenting. You got daddy's girl over here. You got mama's boy over here. It makes it kind of hard being pulled. So we have to come together and sit and talk like, hey, we got to get on the same page with one another, because you'll have one say, yeah, sure, go ahead and do that. And you have the other one say, no.
Oh, that's so real. But that's why you got to have conversations with the kids too and tell the kids, don't do that. Don't divide us. But also, as parents, if one of the kids come to you about something, the first thing I do is go to mama.
Absolutely.
Or I hit her and say, did you send your mama this? Or did you tell your mama this too? Don't get me in no trouble, because then I'm going to get yelled at.
What I do is I go ask your mama. And then mama usually come back, and then mama call me and say, hey, this, that, and the other. I don't want to get in between y'all.
That's right.
Nope. Because our kids do that. Mama tell them no, and then they'll come sneak and be like, hey, Dad, can I do this?
That happened to me this morning, and mama already said no, but you trying to trick daddy.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That email?
Yep. They ain't about to get me in no trouble.
That was a well-executed
plan. It was amazing.
She deserves a gift.
I agree. Yeah. But mama said no.
That's all she wrote. You wasted your time.
That's it.
Well, what's the moral of the story?
I think the moral of the story is marriage is. The moral of the story is go buy Real Life, Real Love, man.
There you go.
That's
the book right now. It's a best-selling book. Real Life, Real Love. Life lessons of joy, pain, and the magic that holds us together. It's out right now on paperback. So pick it up right now. Amazon, wherever you buy books. And when we come back, we got your rumor report. We got to tell you guys about Teyana Taylor. How she felt Pharrell could have been more of a help in this industry. We'll explain it when we come back. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host Gia with us this morning.
Hello, beautiful people.
And I want to say that this is the first day that I've worked here that Charlamagne hasn't flirted with me.
First of all,
I was wondering about that myself.
Red? He didn't make.
Red, who switched up the energy? Because I don't be flirting. I told him I'm not playing gay this year.
I was definitely going to make mention of this.
It's
I
you.
think it's the first day.
That's
First
him.
day. First day.
Envy ain't even think about it.
He did say one thing when I was in the office. I was about to get a water. He said, "You better not bend down over there and get that water."
Shut
from
up!
it.
Why ain't nobody say nothing stupid like that?
He definitely
If you don't stop,
All
why
right.
would you tell that lie on the radio?
I was waiting outside the door. I heard it.
See, let's get to the rumors. Let's talk scissor.
Rumor has it. Rumor has it.
Call out a name on the gossiping.
This is the Rumor Report.
I mean, I guess we on the Breakfast Club. This is where the tea spills, right?
Yes, on the Breakfast Club.
Now we got to congratulate SZA. She scored her first Billboard Hot 100 #1 with Kill Bill. Congratulations.
That's crazy. That album was #1 for like 8 weeks this year. The whole album was, but that's her first #1 single?
Yeah.
Huh?
That
don't
sounds
sound
crazy.
right.
That's her first Billboard Hot 100 #1.
That can't be right. Yo.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so shout to her whole team over there. Shout to Baby Sam. Shout to Puerto Rican Rob. Shout to the whole staff and TDE. They did their
TDE,
thing.
man.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Congratulations. Now, Teyana Taylor did an interview with Angie Martinez for
The
her
legendary,
podcast.
iconic Angie Martinez. Dropping the clues bomb for Angie Martinez. Man. In Real Life is the best podcast out there. And has been for a minute.
Yeah, shout to Angie Marr. Now, they talked about Pharrell. Now, if you don't know, she was signed to Pharrell at 15. She even did My Sweet 16 on MTV with Pharrell and all them. And she talks about how she wished Pharrell would have protected her a little more.
I had a really, 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 really deep and honest conversation with Pharrell. Because, you know, that he was the first person to sign me. And to me, as a 15-year-old, was you didn't protect me. You let everybody mishandle me. You know what I'm saying? When I signed to you. So
Did he understand that? That's like probably so hard for him to hear that.
just recently shared that with him, and I want to say it might have been like right after Fade came out. So I was like in a super like just poised, graceful place to just kind of like let him know just how proud I was of just us. Knowing him as well as I know him, it wasn't the thing that you did on purpose. You didn't purposely not protect me. You know, he's so gentle, you know, and just kind of just like let everybody push him out the way. And I guess for me, that 15-year-old, that girl just needed you to push for me more.
Wow.
Let me tell you something, man. If you want to hear in-depth, vulnerable conversations where guests completely let their guard down, listen to In Real Life podcast with Angie Martinez. There's nobody who makes their guests more comfortable than Angie Martinez, man.
Yeah, they also talk about the Fade video and, you know, the fact that she didn't even know it was coming out.
Like, it seemed like every time you got to the door, it slammed in your face. That was the feeling that I was having. You get what I'm saying? Even all the way down to Fade. To do Fade and be like, this is it.
Fade was fire.
Exactly.
Another
and I
moment.
feel like right after Fade, album should have dropped. It was always something. So I was like, what were these moments and who were these moments really for?
That's real.
Who were they for? Do you know?
I don't know. Like even when Fade came out, I told you I didn't know. I watched myself on a VMAs have one of the biggest moments of my career sitting on my couch in Atlanta watching the VMAs.
And what's happening inside? Is that anger? Is that disappointment?
I don't even think that it was anger. It may have hit a little later because I think I was also trying to still process everything. You got to understand, when that video came out, my life literally changed overnight.
I mean, that's real. I mean, the Fade moment was definitely a moment for Kanye because that's his record. You know what I mean? But Kanye didn't think it through and, you know, and say to himself, I'm going to promote my record on the VMAs, but this is also my artist. Maybe let's drop a record, you know, the very next day on Tiana Taylor, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been her whole career. I don't think she's got the push. I don't think people recognize the talent as they should. Because she's an amazing artist.
Musically. But here's the thing, though. I don't want it's not a disconnect with Tiana in the industry. It's more of a disconnect with Tiana and the consumer, right? Because the consumer be saying how much they love these people, but when these people drop a project, do you go support it?
Right.
Do you go buy it?
Yeah, same thing with Chloe Bailey. Yeah, you're right.
It's like
but it's crazy, though, because everybody raves about Tiana Taylor.
That's right.
Everybody admires her. Everybody talks about her. So, you know, as someone that's just sitting back and watching, I've often thought to myself, like, damn, why doesn't she pop off the way that she should?
I think it's
all
the
that
consumer.
talent, all that beauty, all that charisma. Why isn't she in the place that she's supposed to be in?
I think it's the consumer, because when she drops music, the music is great.
It's always great.
But the consumer doesn't go out there and get it. SZA had a #1 album for 8 weeks in a row, and still selling, just had a #1 single. Why do you think that is? Because of the consumer.
It's just so sad because she's become so disheartened that, you know, at that time, she retired.
Yeah, she retired at that time.
She retired.
Yeah.
You know?
She's still retired as far as musically is concerned. She said she might come back, but right now she's into acting. And she also talks about her relationship with her husband. Huh?
At any point do you feel
God, I'm
just
sorry.
like, why do I keep doing this? It's clearly not meant to be. Like, do you ever get in your head that way?
Yeah, I have those moments, but the great thing about how I handle myself is I have that moment, and once I let it all out, I then have my conversation with God. And I'm like, just breathe into me, Lord. And I think that's the amazing part about having a relationship with God, because I think people think it's just like, okay, get on your knees, put your hands together and say a prayer, you know? And I think it's really about just having real conversations with him. Like, I done got up in a conversation with him tight. You know, like, I made it hit him with a yo. Like, yo, Father, like, what's my journey? Like,
what are we doing?
What you want me to do? Like, what's my higher calling? Like, am I here? Like, what do you see for me?
Tiana is fine, okay? She's got a great career in so many different areas, from music to acting. She's going to continue to grow, movie directing, video directing. I feel like I just saw something with... She's creative director for Lotto now? Am I making this up?
Now, yeah. So now Lotto's on tour, so she's actually directing and choreographing Lotto's set.
That's right.
So all the dances and all that. So drop a bomb for Tiana Taylor.
Don't be surprised if one day you see Tiana Taylor winning a Oscar. You know what I mean, for directing or acting. You just never know. Tiana gonna be more than fine.
All right. Well, that is your rumor report. The People's Choice Mix is up next, and I got to remind you, May 28th, my car show. We heading to Memphis, and I'm bringing the whole family out. Gia's gonna be there. You hanging out with me in Memphis, right?
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
That's right. The kids will be out there. So it's a family fun day. We're going to be having cars from Young Dolph. We're going to have his whole fleet. We're going to be celebrating his life. Key Glock, 50 Cent, Bun B, My Cars, and a host of others. If you haven't got your tickets, get them now. Tickets are for kids 5 and under are free. So get them now. Click the link in my bio. And the People's Choice Mix is up next.
Jackson asked, he said, Mom, does Daddy bring the rides from state to state? The jumpies and everything? Does he bring that? Like, how does he get it there?
We do.
Well, he wanted to know if you physically were transporting the Ferris wheels and, you know, the swinging arc and, you know, all of that from state to state.
Yeah. The other day I told him that, you know, that you know, when I was a child, we'd have to run on a plane to get the plane to go up in the air.
What?
Yeah, I was just messing with him. I was like, you know, in my day, we'd have to use our feet to get the plane in the air. We'd have to run real fast.
Like a Flintstone?
Yeah, like a Flintstone.
Man, shut up.
I definitely told him that. He was like, Mom said you're lying. Mom said you're fibbing. I was like, no, it's true. I even showed him a video.
He's not allowed to use the word lying.
I said
he
fibbing.
definitely said fibbing or telling an untruth.
That's right. Well, the People's Choice Mix is up next. Let's go.
The Breakfast Club. Your mornings will never be the same.
It's tough to find that right person. especially when it comes to hiring for an open role. With ZipRecruiter's matching technology, makes it easy to find and invite great candidates to apply to your jobs. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/breakfast.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our co-host Gia joining us today.
Hello, beautiful people.
Now, how was your day? How was your waking up early in the morning and rocking out with us in the morning?
I mean, I got to end up here and have a good time with you guys, so it was absolutely worth it. Even though I only got 1 hour of sleep, but
That's
I have
right.
to say, it went by so quickly. This doesn't feel as though it's been as long as I've been sitting here.
That's right. And
having a good time. Thank you.
And we got to remind the people that the national bestseller is out today. Real Life,
Yes,
Real Love.
indeed.
It's out on paperback. So pick it up. Amazon Books, wherever you buy your books. You can go to Barnes & Nobles, whatever it may be, get the book. It's about relationship. Me and my wife, we've been together. How long have we been together?
29 years on October 8th when you asked me to be your girlfriend.
That's right. 29 years, and we've been married 22 years.
22 years in a couple weeks.
In a couple of weeks.
What
So,
you got
yeah.
planned for me? What you got planned for me?
We got a car show.
What we doing?
The car show.
Wait, what? What's the date of the car show?
No. It's
Damn, you took the anniversary money and put it into the car show, King? That's crazy. That's crazy.
I just want to know what we eating that day.
No, we're going out to Atlanta. We got to do the R&B Soul Picnic. That's Mother's Day weekend. So it's like a huge picnic in Atlanta with a bunch of artists.
Oh, so that's a go?
Yeah,
So that's where we're going to be spending Mother's Day and our anniversary?
That's right.
Did you ask her if that's what she wanted to do for
I'm kind of
Mother's
on the
Day?
same time as you.
And your anniversary?
I'm definitely on the same time.
That sounds crazy.
Wow, I just got deboed.
Let me tell you, look. That's how much we're getting paid.
All right, let's go.
See?
Wheels up.
Wheels up. Yeah, but we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you. I'm surprised. I
Thank
thought for
you.
sure you were going to be late. I had a backup plan just in case you were late.
Y'all didn't
What
come
was that?
together?
Yeah, we did, but I had a backup plan because I thought for sure she was going to be late this morning. I would have bet my life on it you were going to be late this morning. Yes.
I told you, I'm not playing any games. This is your job. This isn't dinner. This isn't meeting the friends out for drinks. This is your job.
Yo, so all I got to say is it's our job and you be on time?
I mean, you won't be able to convince me of that, but yes.
Jesus. All right. When we come back, we got the positive notice, the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. It's time to get up out of here. Gia, our co-host, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
All right. And again, the book is out right now. Real Life, Real Love. National bestseller. This is the paperback version. So pick it up if you haven't got the other one. Or get them both. And we appreciate you guys for riding with us and supporting us. Are we ever going to get back to doing the podcast? Everybody hits me all the time about the podcast. Yes.
I know.
You just keep having kids, so I can't do the podcast.
It's on you. I need you to commit right here so that I can hold you accountable to what you commit to.
We just built the studio.
I know. So when are we going to start taping?
It's up to you.
It's not up to me. I tell you every week, get it situated. I want to start filming.
This sounds like the podcast.
I'm good. Tomorrow, absolutely.
I was just joking. It can't be tomorrow. But the weekend. We can do it on the weekend.
Do you promise?
No, because I don't know if the kids got games.
Are you out of town this weekend?
Friday.
You're out of town on Friday?
And then Saturday we have a gala.
All right, let's shoot an episode or 2 or 5 over
day?
the weekend.
Can't do it. Friday I'm out of town. Saturday we have the gala with Thea. Sunday, maybe Sunday.
Why did you even ask?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Right?
People hit me in
It
that.
kind of seems like a moot point, right?
Jesus Christ.
Soon.
It's going to come soon. Soon come.
Everybody is asking if it's over. It's definitely not over.
Soon come. And Charlamagne, you got a positive note?
I do, but before I do the positive note, man, I know this is a late notice, but we all know one of my favorite authors of all time is Judy Blume. And Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret comes out this Friday. And tonight, I'm having a special screening of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. It's actually called Girl Dads in Bloom. Right? So if you are a father and you want to bring your daughter to this special screening of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Call right now. It's at 8:00 tonight in New York City. If you're in New York only. So 8:00 tonight if you're in New York. Call us right now. And it's first come, first serve. So I'll put a couple of y'all on the list tonight. Okay. The list for the night. It's at 8:00. If you want to go, if you're in New York City and you want to take your daughter to see Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, or you and your wife and your daughter want to go see it, whatever it is, just hit us up right now and we'll put you on the list.
And that's 800-585-1051.
That's right.
That positive note?
I'm only going to take like 4 people though. Maybe 6. It just depends. Just call right now. First come, first serve. Yes, the positive note is simply this, man. People hate when they can't get under your skin. Okay? I'm at peace and you're in pieces. Stay blessed though.
Breakfast Club, bitches!
Y'all finished or y'all done?